Have you ever heard about the financial structure as in financial institution and financial intermediaries for banking and non-banking? So, my team, me as myself, Akila, Akram, Shida, and Fariza will share to you about this topic so that you can get a better understanding for the financial institution and financial intermediaries.
Okay, so we continue to my next part, which is an economic analysis of financial structure. Financial system is complex in structure and function. So there are 8 basic facts about financial structure, which is stock, issue marketable debt, indirect finance, financial intermediaries, financial system, well-established corporation, prevalent feature of debt, and debt contracts. Okay, so next, about the transaction cost. Transaction costs are a major problem in financial market. So, economy of scale have one solution, which is problem of high transaction costs to bundle the fund many of investor together. And next, bundling investor fund together reduce transaction cost for each individual investor. This economics has scale exists because of total cost of carrying out transaction of financial market increase. So its expertise is the financial intermediaries are also better able to develop expertise that can be used lower transaction costs. Lower transaction costs enable financial intermediaries to provide their customer with liquidity service and make service that make it easier for customer. Asymmetric information explain why financial intermediaries and indirect finance play such as an important role in financial market. The situation will arise when one party insufficient knowledge about the other party. Involve the transaction market, it's impossible for the first party to make accurate data. Adverse is the selection is an asymmetric information problem where it occurs before a transaction occurs. Moral hazard, it occurs or arises after the transaction happen. As an example, the lender runs the risk that the borrower will engage in activities that are undesirable from the lender point of view. This topic shows how asymmetric information problem affect economic behavior is called agency theory. Payment in stock and bond market is similar problem arise in security market. People only buy bond if its interest is high enough to compensate him for the average default risk. To solve adverse social problem, the market will have many transactions and will perform its intended job of channeling goods to people who want them. If purchaser of securities distinguish good firms from bad, they will pay full value of securities issued by good firms, and good firms will sell their security in the market. Private production and scale and sale of information is talk about the solution to the adverse selection problem. This system is not completely solved because of some issue. We call it free rider problem. It occurs when people who do not play information take advantage of the information that other people have paid to. Because of this all matter, you can no longer to buy the securities for the less than their value. Plus, you can get or gain any profit from purchasing the information. And this weak ability of private firms to profit from selling information. And the last point, government regulation to increase information. The problem above showed how and to prevent the private market from producing enough information to eliminate all the asymmetric information. The government could to produce information to help the investor distinguish good from the bad firm and provide it to the public free of charge. And this solution will involve the government releasing negative information about the firms, a practice that politically difficult. And that's all from me. Thank you very much. We move to the next. We move to the other. Thank you.
Do you know financial intermediation can reduce the transaction cost? So how? First, because of the economies of scales. It is because economy of scale exists because the total cost of carrying out a transaction in financial market increases only as little as the size of the transaction grows. So next is expertise. Financial intermediaries are also better able to develop expertise that can be used to lower the transaction costs. Financial intermediation can be a tool to help solve adverse selection, which the analysis of adverse selection stated that the better known a corporation is, the more information about its activity available in marketplace. Thus, it is easier for investors to evaluate the quality of the corporation and determine whether it is a good firm or a bad firm. Next, venture capital firms pool the resources of their partners and use the fund to help to guide the entrepreneurs to start a new business. which is acting as one of the tools to help solve the principal agent problem. So the third one of the tools of solving the problem of the moral hazard is which the intermediary is making a private loan, so they receive the full benefits of monitoring and enforcement the work to shrink the moral hazards problem in that contracts.
Next, we will move on to the banking institution. Firstly, we need to know what is a bank. Bank is a financial institution that accepts deposit from the public and creates a demand deposit while simultaneously making loans. In easier way to understand it, bank is a financial institution that have been given license from the government to receive deposit from the public and make loans. Bank has to collect deposit from the public and lend those deposit for the development of agriculture, industry, trade, and commerce. Banking institution consists of central banks, commercial banks, investment bank, Islamic bank, and other financial institutions. Here, the example of banking institution in Malaysia. First is central bank. Central bank is mandated to promote monetary stability and financial stability conducive to the sustainable growth of the Malaysia economy. The example of central bank in Malaysia is Bank Negara Malaysia. Second is commercial bank. Commercial bank accepts deposit, offer checking account service, makes various loans, and offer basic financial products like certificates of deposit and saving accounts to the customer. The example of commercial bank in Malaysia is Maybank, CIMB Bank, RHB Bank, and Public Bank. Next is investment bank. Investment bank responsible as financial intermediary that perform a variety of service, primarily in raising capital and security underwriting, mergers and acquisition, and sales and trading for both institution and private investor. Lastly is Islamic bank. Islamic bank having the same function as the commercial bank, but the operating modes of Islamic bank is guided by Islamic law, which is Sharia.
Okay, next I will explain about non-banking institution, which is defined as corporate bodies other than licensed commercial bank, such as investment bank, development financial institution, or we can call as DFIS, insurance companies, credit union, and provident and pension funds. Non-banking institution also accepted as near money. What is near money? Near money is consists of highly liquid asset, which is not cash but can easily convert into cash. Okay, next slide I will explain about few of non-banking institutions that have in Malaysia. First, unit trust, which is provide opportunity to investors to put income in diversified portfolio securities such as Kenanga Investment Bank. And as investor, we can choose product that they have. Either we want invest in Sharia or non-Sharia. Okay, number 2, DFIS, or we can call as Development Financial Institution like Agrobank and Exim Bank. Each product provide their specialized financial products and service suits the specific needs of target strategic sectors. For example, for Exim Bank, they are specialized in import and export activity. Number 3, as we know, in Malaysia have a lot of insurance companies. For example, Prudential and Great Eastern. They will offer to their clients coverage against risk for a fee. Okay, number 4 is provident and pension funds, which is provide with a social securities in form of retirement, medical, death, and disability benefit. And most important, it is a long-term saving for both the public or private sectors to become finance long-term investment. Okay, this is chart for non-bank institution in Malaysia. Non-bank have complementary role to banks in providing service to specific market segments, but it less complex for a much smaller share by banking system. But as you can see in the chart,
Banks represent the mainstay of financial system, around 142% of gross domestic profit, or we can call as GDP, including insurance and development financial institution, or we can call as DFIS. And 170% of GDP is attributed to institutions that are prudentially supervised by banks. Okay, as you can see, this article released on April 2020 during the pandemic COVID-19 occur. Okay, and it's about Affin Hwang Unit Trust, or we can call it Affin Hwang Investment Bank, which is Affin Hwang declared total of 94.88 million ringgit distributed for 18 funds and huge inflows into fixed income in excess 2 million ringgit. As you can see, I already highlight the main point of this article, which is investors took the opportunity to gain profit and wait for the market stabilize. And Affin Hwang management stay tight with their clients during this period in pandemic COVID-19 to update them about the market and portfolio strategies.
Okay, moving on to current issue for banking institution, which is about Malaysian new 6-month loan moratorium. What is moratorium? Moratorium is the legal authorization to debtors to postpone payment of the loan. So, what the issue is about? Malaysia can finally applying for the 6-month loan relief program from commercial bank. If they are Malaysian that are struggling with their finance or expect to have difficulty for paying their bank loans, this 6-month loan relief announced on 28 June under Pemulih Economic Package may provide some temporary and near-instant financial relief. The plan is provided by 3 of Malaysia's largest commercial banks, which is Maybank, CIMB, and Public Bank, on their website, as well as general information from Bank Negara Malaysia. This is open to all individuals from all income brackets, which is B40 low income category, M40 mid income category, or T20 high income category.
Okay, thank you. So we move to the last part from my group is about current issue in Bank Negara Malaysia. So this article I selected and I collect from the Google, which is talk about current issue of Bank Negara. As you can see, this article talk about international reserve down from the Bank Negara Malaysia. Why? Like I already highlight at the article above. Because of the sufficient to finance and 1.2 times total short-term external debt. Next point, IMF reserve special drawing right to 6 billion US, gold 23 billion US, and reserve asset 3.9 billion US. As conclusion, why Bank Negara Malaysia and international reserve down? Because this matter we can relate to with the monetary policy, like if reserve down and the percentage liquid asset to save will down or decrease too. I repeat, if reserve down and percentage liquid asset down too. That's all from us. Thank you very much.